Hey viewers, my name's Cara. I'm your host for Tuesdays here on the Pagan Perspective. This week we're talking about starting a pagan YouTube channel, and this is a thing that really I am too YouTube old to adequately talk about this topic anymore. And what I mean by that is obviously I'm not that old yet. I'm older than some of you, but on the internet, time moves very quickly, and so being around the internet, or even we could say specifically YouTube, for 10 years, and even this collab channel is going to be completing its 10th year of existence this summer, and then moving into our 11th year of existence as a collab. That makes us ancient. And me being one of the founding members and having been on YouTube since originally 2007, but I really started making videos in 2008 and really more about paganism and my spirituality and that kind of stuff 2008, 2009, and then starting the collab in 2009. That makes me in particular ancient. And so the advice that I have for you must necessarily be contextualized so that you know what I'm talking about as it existed when I was starting to make videos, because it's not the same now. And also any advice that I have for you must necessarily be broadened into general advice that hopefully still applies today, or that hopefully will apply even into the future, so that people watching this a couple years from now, when YouTube and the internet have inevitably changed again, hopefully the advice will still be useful to them. So, sorry, I still have some tea with me. I'm still getting over a little bit of sickness. I don't remember if last week when I did my video, if I was still coughing and like barely had a voice or not, but I'm starting to feel better, but I am still taking tea breaks. My throat still feels very dry, so just forgive me for that. Still not editing these videos. Also having an issue with my miniature laptop right now that I usually get on to do my custom thumbnails, because for some reason uploading a custom thumbnail to these videos is the only thing I can't do in the mobile YouTube app. If any of you know how to do that, please let this ancient YouTube witch know, because I can't figure it out. That seems to be the only thing I can't do from my phone, so I have to do that on a computer. And my computer, like, froze yesterday and decided it didn't want to be a computer anymore for a while, so I'm letting that recharge, but I don't know what the thumbnail will be on this video, because I'm not going to be able to upload a custom one, probably. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a good one and not one of those weird mid-word things. Anyway, the topic is, as worded, is in the description below. It's from Demon Dream, who wrote, "Do you have any recommendations for someone first starting a pagan YouTube channel? I've been meaning to talk about Mesopotamian polytheism, but getting the word out and planning topics a hypothetical audience might be interested in is difficult." So that's what we're responding to this week. So, approximately 10 years ago, when I started making videos on YouTube, there was a YouTube feature known as video responses. And what that was you could watch someone else's video and say, hey, that sounds really cool. I'd like to respond to that. I'd like to respond directly to what they said, or I'd like to do my own version talking about the same thing they did. And there was a little section underneath the video playback area, so it would have been right down here back in the day. There was a little section where, or actually when you put it in the comments, when you started a comment, it gave you the option, there was another little thing to click add a video response. And so you would do your own video, you would upload your own video on your YouTube channel, and you would have the link, and you would copy the link in, or you could click add a video response, and then it would let you select a video from your recent uploads. And sometimes people would do that and add completely unrelated things just to get themselves out there. And some people didn't check their video responses and let that happen. Others of us, if we saw that it was just some spam or unrelated thing, it wasn't actually a response to our video, we had the option to remove it and not have it be shown. But so ideally, what we were doing within the community at least, and ideally what you would do, is you would be making a response actually to that person's video, talking about the same topic and responding to what they said. Maybe adding to it, maybe providing your own perspective, whatever the case may be. And so then you would select it and you would add it as a video response to their video. So from then on, when people watch their video, you would see the person's video here, and then underneath you would see video responses. And there could be 1 or there could be 50, you know, and it would give you kind of like a scrolling playlist of video responses that other people had done to that video. And that was a really cool way, not only to see what other people had to say about the topic, but it was a really easy way for us 10 years ago to kind of get to know who are the other pagans and witches on YouTube making videos, because we would be responding to each other, but then we would also have our own channel content. And so we would come up with our own topics elsewhere, and maybe someone would respond to that. So we'd be responding to each other. And it was a really easy way to kind of make friends more directly than is possible now. And they got rid of video responses years ago. And so that's not a formalized thing anymore where you actually select it and it shows up below the videos. And for a while you couldn't put links in comments, but now you can actually include links in comments again. So some people advertise their own channel by commenting on other people's videos when it's loosely related, or they'll just be like, yo, cool video. I do videos about this totally unrelated topic. I want everyone to check it out. Link. And they'll put that in the comments. I personally don't appreciate stuff like that, but I do appreciate when people say, hey, I watched this video. I was recently thinking about something similar, or I've actually done some research on something similar and I have a video about it. It would kind of go along with this topic. Here's that, you know? So they're saying, I've actually watched your video, I know what your content is about, and I've done something related to that. Or if they've decided to actually respond to it and make a new video after seeing your video. So now you can link things in comments. I believe it does still go to spam first though, unless the person who owns the channel has set it so that it doesn't. So I believe for mine, it would probably go directly to spam because it has a link. And I would then go through later and read and see, is this a legitimate thing or is this spam? And then I would approve or decline as I see fit. The other thing you can do is not even include a link to the video, but just tell people, hey, on my channel, which would be really easy for people to find, because if you're commenting using that channel, they just click on your name where you posted the comment and it takes us to your channel page. And you could say, hey, on my channel, I have done a video about this topic, or I did a video responding to this. The title is, and tell people the title, and then we can go to your channel and search that title, or maybe it's your most recent upload from the time you're putting the comment there. So there are other ways we can find each other's videos that way. So even though video responses are no longer a thing on YouTube, and that's really one of the big things that we relied on 10 years ago or so, even though it's not a thing, you can still do that. You can still find other people's channels who you like, who are talking about topics that you are really interested in chiming in on, and you can make responses to those topics. Now, for me personally, I have had people copy some of my videos, not just make responses to them with their own opinions, but I've had people copy my videos. And they say imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. I can tell you that to me, it does not feel flattering when someone copies an entire video and never once mentions where it came from. So that doesn't feel nice. That feels like stealing. It feels like taking views away from someone else. So my biggest advice when you go about this type of thing if you're inspired by someone else, and of course, I mean, we're all talking about the same things all the time. Everyone has their own opinion on basic topics within paganism and witchcraft. So I'm not saying you're stealing someone else's idea if you're talking about the same basic topic. But if you are responding directly to something that someone else has said, or a topic that they came up with that you feel is pretty unique, and so you got the idea from them, even if it's not super unique and you don't really know exactly where the trend started, but you know it's a thing that a lot of people do, but you saw this person do it. My advice is go ahead and give that person credit as where you got the idea, because not only does that cover your bases and let people know that you're not trying to steal anyone else's work, it also lets that person know that you respect them enough to say, hey, this is where I got it. And then maybe they see your video because of that. And maybe they say, oh, I got it from so-and-so, or I happen to know the original source of it, and here's that. And then so you're sharing information. So it feels much nicer, because I have also had people be inspired by my videos or want to do the same topic of some videos from my personal channel who have credited me. And often they also send the video to me. And that feels a lot better, right, than Googling something. I'm looking for one of my own videos because somebody asked me a question about it, and then I Google it and I find someone else has done a similar topic, and I'm like, oh, I want to see what they had to say about this. And then it turns out it's a word-for-word copy of my video with no credit. Like, that feels like crap. But when you are inspired by someone else and you say, hey, I was inspired by so-and-so, here's the thing, and then you actually tweet it to that person, or you tag them in your post about it on Instagram or something like that. You message them on YouTube if they have YouTube messaging, or you message them on Facebook, or just anything. You actually send it to that person and they see it. That feels so nice. And that's just such a nice way to develop community and make friends. Especially if you are inspired by a person like me who happens to be a Leo. Do not wound our pride, please. That means a lot to us. Our pride is very important. So yeah, especially if you're doing this with a Leo. But no, anybody. If we're trying to be part of this community, we want to be friends, right? We want to be friends to each other. We want to show that we're stepping into a community where we know other people are already doing things, or we want to bring people together in community. We don't want to do that by not giving credit or by stealing or anything like that. Now, that said, or well, same topic basically. Again, even though video responses don't exist anymore as a formalized thing on YouTube, we have always, here on the Pagan Perspective, we have always encouraged people, even if you're not a member of the collab posting on this channel, to make your own videos on your personal channels answering these topics and these questions. And you can say, this topic originally came from Demon Dream and it was asked on the Pagan Perspective, but I'm going to do a video here about it. Cool. And then you can either put it in the comments that week and say, hey guys, I did a video about this topic on my own channel. If anyone wants to see another perspective, broop, there you go. That's a perfect way to let people know that you're here, let people know that you are making videos about these similar topics or even the same topic. I think that is the best way to do it when it's the collab. You know, I've done a video on this topic, and maybe it wasn't the exact same, you know, this person this week that asked it, but, you know, for example, people have asked us about crystals in the past. So maybe you have a video on crystals already. So maybe you go and find one of the weeks where we were talking about crystals and let people know in the comments, hey, I have a video about crystals on my personal channel. This is the title, and actually put in the title of the video is whatever it is, you know, Susie's video on crystals, whatever the case may be, so that people can find it. Because we are not checking every single comment on every single video in order to approve it if it has links. So it may or may not show up if you include a link, but if you say, hey, over on Susie's channel, I have a video called Susie's Video About Crystals, and you might enjoy it because it's about crystals, and yeah. So you get the idea. So there are things you can do, and we have always encouraged people to do that on Pagan Perspective, and very few people over the years have done that, at least that we've seen. So, I mean, there might be people using the topics that we talk about on the collab and doing their own videos, but they're not sending them to us, or they're not saying anything about it in the comments, or they're not messaging us on our other social media personally to say, you know, hey, Angelo, I did a response to one of your videos on Pagan Perspective, or hey, Danny, I did a response to your video from Pagan Perspective. If we're not finding that out, they could be floating out there in the ether of the internet, and we just don't know. So I do recommend taking that little extra step, send it to the person that you were inspired by, that you got the idea from. Or if it's just Pagan Perspective, that's cool too. I mean, we have something like 20,000 subscribers on this channel now, which is insane, by the way. That's more than I have on my personal channel. So that's awesome. And YouTube recently did a cleanse of inactive accounts and deleted accounts. So I know that the number of our subscribers right now is pretty accurate. So that doesn't mean everybody's watching every single video, as we've seen, because the video counts do not match up with that. We have far fewer than 20,000 views on every single video each week. So I know it's more like in the hundreds of people who are actually watching weekly. But even so, even in the hundreds, I would say there are 10 or fewer people over the past 10 years who have done their own videos on their channel answering questions from our collab. And there have been more than 10 people over the past 10 years who have asked me things like, how do I get topics? Where do I get topics? How do I know what to talk about? What should I talk about? How do I know what people want me to talk about? And I say, well, I happen to be part of a collaborative channel that has been in existence for nearly 10 years now. But, you know, at the time, it's, you know, we've been going for 3 years, we've been going for 5 years, 7 years, whatever. So we have 3, 5, 7, 10 years worth of topics for you to look back at. Take a look at our past topics and do some of those, you know, just take that topic, say, hey, I got this from Pagan Perspective. It was originally asked by Katie, and she had asked, what are people's opinions about the Wheel of the Year? Or I got this video that they did 4 years ago from Billy, and he was asking about crystals and their relation to the elements, or, you know, whatever the case may be. You can take those topics and do the video. You don't have to be an official member of this channel to use these topics. We don't talk about it every single day anymore, but we used to encourage that heavily to try to get people to do it, and very few people ever have. So please do that. So as for the specific topic this week and the question, you know, this person said, I've been meaning to talk about Mesopotamian polytheism. First of all, that sounds cool. That sounds like something I'd like to hear about. So hopefully you asking this topic and us putting it in here this week is a good way for people to now know that your channel exists. But then the next part, getting the word out and planning topics a hypothetical audience might be interested in is difficult. As far as getting the word out, one, you just did it. The word's out. So I hope that I haven't checked yet. I hope that you already have videos on the channel, because what I would say is it is easiest to already have videos on your channel before you start bringing people to it. It is not as effective for me personally as a viewer. It's not effective for me to see someone say, hey, I'm going to be doing all these videos on my channel about this, and maybe it sounds really cool, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool, that's interesting. And I go there, and it's a blank channel, and they haven't started anything yet. Even if it's just put up a video introducing yourself, put up your intro video, something. Give people something to watch immediately, and then I feel that that is more effective. They've met you, they've had something to do when they go to the channel. It doesn't make sense to me personally to say, hey, come to my channel and subscribe, and, you know, once I have 1,000 subscribers, then I'll start posting videos. Like, no, that's not how it works. You need to give people some content already. So I recommend that if you haven't already started making videos. Your topic, in specific, Demon Dream, Mesopotamian polytheism, that's not something I've seen done a lot. So you've got a niche right there, and so that's cool. That's a good place to start. Sounds like it might be a little more educational based, and so there are lots of ways you can go with that. You can do the talking at the camera like we do here on this channel. You can do some more editing presentational wise, like if you're doing basically like a PowerPoint slideshow, or you have little animations, you know, using your different skill sets, whatever you might personally be able to do, decide how you want to display the channel. Is it going to be text-based and images on the screen and you just watch it? Is it going to be talky vlogs, talking at the camera? There are lots of ways that you can go about it. And then as for the other part, planning topics a hypothetical audience might be interested in, who cares? Honestly, hypothetical audience is you. This is how I run my channel. The hypothetical audience is you. Do videos that you would want to watch. If somebody says they want me to do a video about the National Football Championships because they're really into football and they want me to do a video on it, I don't care. Because that's not something I know about. That's not something I'm interested in. I don't care how many views it might get because everybody's going to be Googling that at a certain time of the year. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I watch. So that's a very extreme example. But that's how I've always done it. I don't do videos about things that I wouldn't want to watch. And yeah. So the hypothetical audience is you, but also planning topics I also can't really give you any kind of advice about because I don't really plan my topics. The farthest, well, I plan the topics for this channel by curating the topics that come into a list. So these are planned a couple of months in advance, or 1 month or a couple months in advance, depending, because I usually put them together 2 months at a time. So we know what all the topics for the rest of January are and for February are now. But I don't know what the topics are for March yet, for example. So there's that. But also, like, on my personal channel, I just do kind of when I'm going throughout my daily life and something pops into my head, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do a video about that. Like recently, I had the symbol of the unicorn pop up a million, gazillion, bajillion times in my life. And it's a good example of how I'm always talking about on my personal channel and in my social media. I'm always talking about the ways that I receive messages from the universe in forms of synchronicity and repeating messages and repeating images, words, phrases, numbers, whatever it may be. And so when I had this happen, where I had a bunch of repeating unicorn imagery coming into my life and I felt like that's a message for me, I thought, oh, this is a great example. I should make a video about this to tell people about it, you know. So that's not planned. The furthest that I plan personal channel videos is like when I get the idea of doing something that would take more than one video, and then I decide I'm going to do a series of videos about it. So like when I went to witch camp, and then when I was coming back from witch camp, I made a list of like the 5 things that I had learned while I was away at witch camp, or the 5 main things that I wanted to share about my experience, and I made a mini series about my first witch camp. Or like right now, I have in the very early planning stages at the end of last calendar year, so a month ago, I decided, because I was talking about a lot of things related to it. I was talking about beginner books again and resources for beginners on the path of paganism and witchcraft. And I started talking to people about our ritual tools again. And I've also recently started having some personal experiences with my desires for the different types of ritual tools that I use or that I historically have not used have been changing. And so I thought, well, that might be an interesting thing to talk about with people, how I didn't used to use this tool, but now I'm feeling drawn toward using it. Or I've always used this type of tool, but now I'm really feeling like I don't need it anymore. Or, you know, just general stuff like that. So I've decided I'm going to be doing a series about my altar tools. But that's that's as far as the plan goes. And I know like that when I do each one, I'm going to want to gather together all of the physical examples of those tools that I have in my house and then do a video. But I don't know when they're going to be posted. I don't know how long the series is going to take. I'll eventually write it down on a piece of paper so I know approximately how many videos I want to start with. And then later on, if I want to add more to that series, they'll just get tacked on the end. And maybe it'll be 3 years from now I decide to tack something on there and it'll be in a playlist, whatever. But that's just how I do things. So that is insofar as I have planned. And that's also very telling of how I do my practice. So if you're starting with something like Mesopotamian polytheism, well, you know, a really great first video on that would be, what is Mesopotamian polytheism? What does that mean to you? What is being defined by that term? What area of the world are we talking about? What historical or current time period are we talking about? What kind of influences are we talking about? Do a 101 type video. Again, I have not checked your channel, so maybe you've already done some introductory videos about it, and that's great. But yeah, so someone first starting a pagan YouTube channel. Yeah. The other big thing that I have always recommended to people is something that I actually am not able to utilize currently, but that's okay because I've gotten used to this over time. The other thing that I've always recommended is that you have some kind of basic editing program so that you can sit down in front of a camera and talk for 26.5 minutes. And if you messed up, or you didn't know what you wanted to say, or you paused a lot, or you said more times than you would have liked, then you can just do the video. Don't worry, just let the camera or your phone or whatever keep running and get it out there. And then you can go and sit and edit and cut out what you don't want anymore and put it together the way you like it. So that was my other big piece of advice that I have not been able to utilize myself for the past year or 2 years or so. I have not had my editing software, and that'll be changing this year, hopefully. Knocking on wood. But that's okay because I've gotten so used to just talking constantly at a camera over 10 years that there are very few times where I feel like, oh, that completely sucked. I have to totally redo that video. Very few times do I have to do that, but I've gotten used to it because I had the security of editing before. So I wasn't afraid of, oh no, what if I say the wrong thing? Or like, what if I put my hair the wrong way in the middle of the video and I realize, and then I have to start all the way over from the beginning. That's a lot of work. So if you have access to basic editing software, it comes on most laptops, anything like that. Now I'm saying Did I say at all in the first part of this video? I feel like now it's in my head because I just gave it as an example, so now it's happening. Ugh, that's annoying. But anyway, if you have access to basic editing software, I think it adds that extra bit of comfort and security. So if you are not used to talking at a camera yet, or if you are not used to making videos yet, it just gives you that little added bit of personal security and feeling like you can do this, because you can do it. There was even someone a while ago in the comments of something or in a group that I'm in, I don't remember. Someone was talking about how they've been wanting to, or they've been thinking about making their own YouTube channel, but they didn't know what they would talk about. And they mentioned that they are a truck driver. And so they spend a lot of their life on the road. And as a pagan, they do a lot of their practices, of course, on the road or in the truck. And they were like, but I don't think anyone would want to hear about that. And a bunch of people commented and they were like, that sounds awesome. Yeah, we would want to hear about that. You should totally do that. And I commented and said, yeah, actually, I have a couple of friends who are pagan truck drivers. So not only are a bunch of us who are not truck drivers interested in hearing what that's like, because that's a totally unique perspective that maybe we've never thought about before, but I actually know some other pagan truck drivers. So you would even have like your own community of that perspective and finding out, you know, how do all of you do it differently from each other. So whatever the thing is that you have to talk about, every one of us is different. You know, on this channel, we talk about the same exact topic and all the videos are different because we're different people with different beliefs and different backgrounds and different perspectives and life experiences. And so whatever it is that you want to talk about, even if you do just want to start with basic stuff like what we all talk about. Do you celebrate the wheel of the year? What are your ritual tools? What's your path? What do you call it? What's your relationship with nature? Do you use crystals? Do you use candle magic? Do you, you know, all of this stuff that we've been talking about for years that everybody's talked about. You might think everyone's done it. Yeah, sure. You haven't done it yet. So that means we don't have your perspective yet. So go forth and populate YouTube with videos, please. That's what it's here for. We are all able to have our own channel. We are all able to put our perspectives out there. And yeah, so get videos out there before you worry about telling people they're out there, because also utilize the tags of the video. Any related subject matter that someone could be Googling or looking up on YouTube that is related to your video, put it in the tags because then it'll pop up in their search results. And yeah, make friends with people, get to know people one-on-one. And I think that's a really great way to find other members of community. When I first started out, it seemed very small. It seemed like maybe there were like 20 of us. Now, I don't even know how many of us there are. It's more and more and more and more every year. So don't let that intimidate you. Don't let that seem like, oh, I have to have 100,000 viewers immediately. I made a celebratory video on my personal channel when I hit 600. And that's like nothing in comparison to anyone on YouTube. So, yeah. Celebrate the little things. Celebrate the small personal milestones. They all count. They all matter. And even if you have just a little circle of like 5 people who you get to know, that's valid and that's important. I've now spoken for way too long. I'm going to let you go. Best of luck on your journey. So much energy to you, so much inspiration and motivation to you. Start writing down ideas, any idea, even if you think it's stupid, start writing them down, putting it in an app on your phone, something, and then you go back to it 5 years later. If you're like me and you still have the same phone 5 years later, you go back to it and you're like, oh, I haven't done that video yet. Maybe now's the time, you know, just, yeah, anything. Start small. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you next week. Don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.